Hello everyone, this is the second and last video from the mobile application side. So what I will be focusing on this video is kind of give you guys an insight as to how the installation process is done the first time that you're running this application. However, do look at the senior project documentation that we have, the Word document, because that has a lot of specifics on it. So I'm going to go ahead and assume a couple of things. I'm going to assume that you've already have Xcode beta, that you already had created an Apple developer account, that you already have an Azure student account. So hopefully you refer to those links and you needed what you needed to do. So now I'm going to assume also that you already have the repo in your local environment. So if we go over here and then let me just backtrack a little bit. All right, so here is the repo that I cloned. So I would just cd into it, cd into mobile. Now here you see all your files. So now, granted, if you already install Cocoa Pods, if you haven't, reference the documentation again. You will probably use gem and some other commands to do that. So usually what you would do here, you have a pod file, and the pod file has some dependencies. And I'll show you when you open up the project, but those dependencies get installed when you do this following command, pod install. And so you will have these over here, and after a couple of seconds it will finish and it will install. It'll probably take you a little bit more since it's the first time you're installing it, so don't worry if it's taking a bit. So now that that's done, right, I would open up my Xcode project. Here I have it, mobile application. Cool. And then here's the pod file. So Firebase and then socket.io, we use those to authenticate users, store information, and establish communication with the desktop application. So it's very important to have those in mind. So once you have the project done like this, you definitely want to hit a build. So you can do command build to build the project. As you see, there's a couple of tasks that are being done in the background. You see a couple of warnings here. A lot of the build succeeded, so that's cool. Thinking about things that can go wrong here. If you were to have your project open before you do pod install, you might have to restart your Xcode and reboot it from start. I highlight some of these bugs, I think, on the documentation that we have. So we do. Okay, no. Okay, yeah. So we actually managed to fix some of these bugs, but in case you get something like import Firebase missing or something like that, what you want to do is basically just restart and build your Xcode, and that tends to work it. If not, there's a couple of things on Stack Overflow that you can reference to fix it. Now, in terms of other setup that you need to do, all right, so we have the code, right? But now you need somewhere to run it. So you'll be automatically in the development target. And if you have iPhone, you can set a device. Currently, I don't have a device connected to my Mac, but I could. Now, by default, I have it on iPhone 8. That's where we test our environment. And what you would do just to run the project is you would do Command R, which builds and does your application. Here's a simulator, right? If it's on your phone, a couple of things to highlight. It's that you first going to have to allow to give permission to that configuration profile to run an application on your phone. So you on your phone, you will have to give it permission, else it's not going to start the application. Then you got to make sure your phone also has to be unlocked. So make sure that your phone is unlocked when you do that. Then a screen similar to this will pop out. Simulator takes a while, so there's no surprise there. But besides that, what are some more things that I need to point out? Oh yeah, so you're gonna see a bunch of errors over here because we're currently not connected to the socket, so we're not doing like a live demo for this. But at least you get to run the application. Now, if you do want to test, and again, I can go through all these screens because we haven't put like restrictions in terms of like, oh, you need to process this before going there. If you want to take a picture, you can't do it in the simulator. You actually have to do it on your phone. There's a way to make it so it's um, through your laptop's camera, but we didn't do that implementation yet. So since we have a phone available, why not? Key part of using your phone is that you cannot use your phone as a device unless you have a Apple developer's account that you would then link. So you just make sure that um, you link your Apple device so that way you're able to run it locally, because that's literally where the core of the functionality is. Besides that, the ngrok link needs to be changed, and I talked about this in the previous video, right? So this ngrok link needs to be changed whenever you are doing a new connection or a demo or whatnot. It needs to be new, and it can only be live for 7 hours. So just keep that in mind. Besides that, I think that's pretty much it. Refer to the documentation. Documentation is the one thing that is going to give you more of a clear pathway as to what you need to do. Um, so yeah, if anything, just reference the documentation. All right, thank you for watching.